In order to prevent Russian strategic aviation from flying and launching missile strikes on Ukraine, it is necessary to attack non-military airfields, as was the case during the special operation Web. As pilot, instructor and retired colonel of the Ukrainian Armed Forces Roman Svitan noted in an interview with Telegraf, the enemy's vulnerable point can be found elsewhere. According to him, it is necessary to destroy oil refineries on the territory of the Russian Federation. In particular, as the expert believes, it is necessary to destroy stocks of aviation kerosene. This kerosene is produced by only about 10 Russian factories. 1 Tu-95 eats, 1 railway tanker 55 tons, 3 railway tanks of aviation kerosene fit into a Tu-160, approximately up to a railway tanker fits into a Tu-22, explained Svitan. The former pilot noted that if the military had destroyed these oil refineries, it would have been possible to eliminate all Russian aviation. Not to destroy it, but not to give it the opportunity to fly, and then air-launched missiles would not be flying at us, assured the retired colonel of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. In addition, Svitan reproached that due to the lack of attacks on Russian oil refineries that produce aviation kerosene and diesel fuel for the Russian army, the occupiers are fully provided with sufficient fuel for the summer period of this year. At the same time, as the expert says, the Russians have destroyed all Ukrainian oil refineries. Let us recall that on June the 1st, the Ukrainian Special Service worked on several military airfields of the Russian Federation. During the massive drone attack, several dozen aircraft were damaged and destroyed. Later, the head of the SBU, Vasyl Malyuk, revealed the details and results of the special operation Web. He noted that as a result of the drone strikes, 41 aircraft were hit. So, first, the SBU sent FPV drones to Russia, and then mobile wooden houses. Once on the territory of the Russian Federation, the drones were hidden under the roofs of the houses, placed on trucks. At the right moment, the roofs of the houses were opened remotely, and the drones flew to hit specific targets, Russian bombers, said Malyuk. At the same time, the Russian leader's press secretary, Dmitry Peskov, answered how the Russian Federation plans to respond to the Ukrainian Web. According to him, this will be done in the way the military deems necessary. Peskov also called the Ukrainian strikes terrorist attacks and said that Russia would like to hear strong condemnation of these actions at the international level.
President Donald Trump is threatening to cut Elon Musk's government contracts as their fractured alliance rapidly escalated into a public feud. According to Associated Press, hours after Trump lamented his breakup with Musk and said Thursday that he was disappointed in his former backer and advisor, and Musk responded on social media, Trump then escalated the feud by threatening to use the U.S. government to hurt Musk's bottom line. Associated Press White House reporter Zeke Miller says this could alter the future of the Trump administration. They are now firing off petty insults back and forth, threatening each other's interests, and it is hard to overstate just how significant that is, not just for the future direction of the Trump administration and the Republican Party, but also key elements of the American defense industrial sector, Miller said. Miller also said that tensions have been brewing between Trump and Musk since the beginning. He was a little bit of an Icarus. He seized the limelight and challenged Donald Trump sort of as the most visible person in the Trump administration, which is never someplace that a Trump staffer wants to be in, Miller said.
We're watching the relationship between the world's most powerful man and its wealthiest man devolve from a close alliance of convenience and policy agreement to really a petty schoolyard fight playing out on social media before the world's eyes. Just 5 or 6 days after Elon Musk was in the Oval Office being feted by President Trump as he was leading the administration after more than 100 days working trying to cut government spending on behalf of Donald Trump, who he helped elect him to the tune of more than $250 million. They are now firing off petty insults back and forth, threatening each other's interests, and it is hard to overstate just how significant that is, not just for the future direction of the Trump administration and the Republican Party, but also key elements of the American defense industrial sector.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. It's an honor to be with Elon, who's my friend, and he's done a fantastic job. He didn't need this. He didn't need it. And we find out government's a little nasty on occasion. Hello, Peter.
Yeah, thanks. Hello, President Trump.
Government's a little bit nasty, Peter. You haven't noticed that? You have.
Tensions have been brewing between Elon Musk and the president, really from the moment Elon Musk got to the White House. He was a little bit of an Icarus. He seized the limelight and challenged Donald Trump sort of as the most visible person in the Trump administration, which is never someplace that a Trump staffer wants to be in. And then from there came the policy disagreements, particularly around things like EV mandates and tax credits, which benefit Elon Musk's personal businesses.
Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is...
And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars.
Good.
Pick number 2.
That's beautiful.
Hello, President Trump. Are you looking to buy or lease today?
Well, I'm going to buy.
And this may be one of those moments where there's a precipitous break and maybe the floodgates open, and that the direction of this administration from today forward may look a lot different than it has been over the last 130 odd days.
NATO defense ministers are set Thursday to approve plans to buy more weapons and military equipment to better defend Europe, the Arctic, and the North Atlantic, as part of a U.S. push to ramp up security spending. According to Associated Press, the capability targets lay out plans for each of the 32 nations to purchase priority equipment like air and missile defense systems, artillery, ammunition, drones, and strategic enablers, such as air-to-air refueling, heavy air transport, and logistics. Today we decide on the capability targets. From there, we will assess the gaps we have, not only to be able to defend ourselves today, but also 3, 5, 7 years from now, NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte said. All these investments have to be financed, he told reporters before chairing the meeting at NATO's Brussels headquarters. U.S. President Donald Trump and his NATO counterparts will meet on June 24 to 25 to agree to new military spending targets. We already know we need to spend much, much more if we want to fulfill all these targets. And by the way, by doing that, we will also equalize in terms of spending between Canada and Europe and the United States, Rutte also said, while speaking to reporters along with U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The reason I'm here is to make sure every country in NATO understands, every shoulder has to be to the plow. Every country has to contribute at that level of 5% too, as a recognition of the nature of the threat, Hegseth added. The targets are assigned by NATO based on a blueprint agreed upon in 2023, the military organization's biggest planning shakeup since the Cold War, to defend its territory from an attack by Russia or another major adversary. Under the plans, NATO would aim to have up to 300,000 troops ready to move to its eastern flank within 30 days, although experts suggest the Allies would struggle to muster those kinds of numbers.